Season 3 is finally here for Battlefield 2042, and as always with all of the updates in this game, I'm going to be giving you guys my initial review on the update, going through the pros and the cons, and essentially just breaking down my opinion on everything that we got in update 3.0. Now, really quickly before we get into it, I've got to give a big shout out to my partners at Glitch Energy. As you guys may know, it is actually Black Friday and Cyber Monday this weekend, and Glitch have actually upped my code to 40% off store-wide on the website. My code is normally 20% off, and the code is code SAMMY if you guys are interested in checking out Glitch Energy. It is absolutely the perfect time to head over and buy some Glitch. They've just released a brand new formula, and there are about 9 new flavors now. The best way that you guys can get into it is actually by buying a starter kit. It comes with a shaker and 7 different sample flavors for only about $16, and with 40% off that takes it below $10. So $10 you can get 7 sample flavors and a shaker cup, while also supporting me and the channel with that 40% off code. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to head to glitchenergy.com. The link to that is down in the description, and again, be sure to enter code SAMMY at the checkout for 40% off your order. But with that being said, let's jump into my opinion on update 3.0. Now, as always with pretty much all of the season launches, the first thing that I wanted to touch on is the new map Spearhead. For me, the maps are always easily the most important part of these updates, and once again, DICE have absolutely nailed these maps. Now, it's kind of weird that the base maps in this game are all pretty, they're not the best maps that have ever launched in the Battlefield franchise, but then for some reason with the season updates for both season 1 and 2, and then obviously now season 3, all of these maps have been absolutely awesome. Exposure is a great map, Stranded was another banger map as well, and then now Spearhead is another really solid map. So it's kind of weird how they launched so poorly with these maps, and then all of a sudden they're just churning out banger after banger. But I definitely can't complain with that, because all of these maps have now been really solid. Now, what I will say as well is that especially for Breakthrough, this map is absolutely amazing, and I'm actually going to say already I think it is the best Breakthrough map in the game. It's really fun with Conquest 2. I'm not sure I'm quite ready to say it's the best map in the game for that mode, but definitely for Breakthrough, it just feels absolutely perfect. Just the flow of the map going from, out in those sort of fields to then moving into the big central building, then back out into the field, and then into the last building at the back of the map. It is just perfectly laid out for this game mode. So overall, the new map Spearhead gets a big plus for me. I think it also looks absolutely stunning. It's probably the best looking of the 3 maps, I would say. They're all really good looking, so it's kind of hard to judge, but I do think it is a beautiful map. It plays really well, and it kind of has that perfect mix of some really close quarters areas, some really long range areas, and essentially everything in between. It's really good for vehicles while not being like overpowered. I was kind of worried a little bit with like choppers being such an open map that, choppers and jets would just dominate, but I haven't really noticed that too much just yet. Maybe as people get better at the map, they will start to become a bit more dominant, but so far it feels like vehicles and infantry can just kind of coexist on this map without either of them being annoying to the other one. So big plus for me for the map. I absolutely love it, and it's probably already one of my favorite maps in the entire game. Now, moving on, we also have Zane, who is obviously the new specialist. To be completely honest, with the previous 2 specialists, I was keen to give them a try, but I kind of knew from just watching the trailers that they weren't going to be my favorite specialists. However, with Zane, I think he is one that has actually been a little bit more exciting in the lead up, just because he does feel, or I should say he did feel, as though he was going to suit my playstyle, and I would say so far that he really does. I really enjoy his trait where you essentially get some health back a little bit faster when you get a kill, because obviously I do like to play aggressively, and that means that I'm often taking a lot of damage in gunfights, and so if I can manage to get that kill, it kind of sets me up really well for the next gunfight. Now, obviously his gadget is also really fun. I was a little bit worried about this being overpowered too, just because it's a grenade launcher. I think anytime there's, any explosives that are added to the game, there's a bit of a risk, I guess, of it being spammed early on. Like if everyone's running around at Zane and there's just grenade launchers everywhere, that's going to be annoying, but I haven't found that so far. The grenade launcher feels pretty balanced, which is a pretty hard thing to do when it comes to something that can essentially spam explosives. But yeah, overall I really like Zane, and with the other 2 specialists in Crawford and Liz, I kind of knew straight away that they just wouldn't, I'd play them a little bit at launch and then that was about it. But with Zane, I actually do feel as though he could enter my sort of main rotation, where there's about 3 or 4 different specialists there that I sort of play every single game, and I do think he will actually end up in that rotation. So definitely a big fan of Zane as well, and I think he also looks awesome. Like he really fits that military look, which is obviously a big plus as well. Now, the next thing on the list here we've got is the railgun. Now, this was debated a lot in the community before, you know, the update went live, because we saw a lot of creators getting to play early and showing some gameplay with this railgun. It looked kind of cracked. It looked absolutely overpowered at times, but having used it now, I will say I do think it is pretty balanced. Obviously, once you get really good with it, maybe it will become, you know, a little bit overpowered, or maybe not overpowered, but it's just going to be a very, very good gun. But as of right now, I'll say that it feels really balanced, because although it does have a lot of big positives with, you know, the ability to one-shot headshot, even though it also has like a fully auto mode, that sounds really overpowered. But the fact that, one, you can only have a 20-round mag and there's no way to upgrade that, and then two, the fact that you kind of have to like charge it before you shoot it, that does add kind of like a risk to actually using it, because if you're going to run around and try and be really aggressive with it, if someone sees you and you see them at the exact same time, they're probably going to start shooting you before you can shoot them, because even if you both press the trigger at the same time, their bullets are going to start hitting you faster than yours hit them, and that's probably going to result in you losing that gunfight. So far I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it's got a big learning curve, but I'm actually really excited to sort of mess around and try and get a lot better with it, and yeah, it does feel very balanced so far. As for the other two new weapons in the pistol and the shotgun, I haven't actually unlocked them yet. They're actually really late in the battle pass, which is kind of odd. I think they're level 28 and 34, so it'll probably still be, I don't know, a couple of weeks until I can unlock those, which I'm okay with that. It kind of gives something to grind for, but yeah, it's definitely a little bit of an odd decision. Usually the weapons and the specialists are really early in the battle pass, and so yeah, I can't really judge those just yet, just simply because I haven't used them. But if they're anything similar to the railgun in terms of balancing, then I'm sure they will be a welcome addition to the game. Now, in terms of the new portal weapons, again, they've kind of launched the same as the, you know, essentially every other portal weapon, or vault weapon as they call them, where they're not terrible, but they're not great either, so it's kind of hard to judge. They are, once again, a welcome addition. I'm never going to complain about getting more weapons, but they're also not amazing either. There's some sort of weird, I don't know, the vault weapons feel a little bit different. They feel almost like it's running on a different game, which I guess technically Portal and, you know, All Out Warfare, they're slightly different than each other, so I guess that's part of it, but they do feel a little bit like detached from the rest of the base weapons in the game, and yeah, it's much the same with these two. So again, welcome additions. I'm not really complaining, and I'd rather them be a little bit weaker than like overpowered or something like that, so hardly the end of the world, but I thought that was just worth mentioning anyway. Now, the last thing I've got here is that, I don't know if it's just placebo, but the game feels to be running a little bit smoother on the Series X and on the PlayStation 5. I have played on both. I haven't actually played on the PC just yet, but I will pretty much when I'm getting the thumbnail for this video, so that won't be too far away. And yeah, the game just feels like it's running a little bit smoother. I don't know if that's, again, just placebo. Maybe I just think that's the case, but running around, I've just noticed like, oh, this kind of feels like it's smoother than it used to be. So I know they've said with every update they're trying to improve the performance. Maybe that has been, you know, had a bigger effect on this update. I'm not really too sure, but to me anyway, it does feel like it's running just a tiny little bit smoother. Not that it was running poorly beforehand, at least on console, but yeah, it definitely feels a little bit improved in that area. Overall though, I'm a big fan of this update. Once again, all of these season launches have been really, really solid now. I'm a really big fan of like the theme of this one. It's a bit more futuristic. It all kind of ties together really well. All three of the weapons they've added are all that like railgun technology. The new map is a little bit more futuristic. Zane's sort of outfit looks a little bit more futuristic, so I do really like the overall theme of this update and just the season in general, really. It's probably already my favorite season just because of that. The map is amazing. It all just ties together really, really well. So I'm a big fan of this update so far, and I'm also a big fan of the game now being on Game Pass as well. Obviously, Game Pass and like EA Play and all that kind of thing. I think that's going to hopefully be really big for the play base, especially, you know, for me and anyone in Australia or any low population countries. It's gonna hopefully mean there's gonna be a lot more players and it's gonna be easier to find a game. So big W for me for update 3.0, and I'm very keen to get stuck into the next few updates where we're getting the breakaway rework, and we're not too far away from actually getting that class system changed over as well. So things are definitely on the up with this game, and I am very excited to see where it goes in the future. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. Like I said at the start of the video, if you are interested in buying some Glitch Energy, be sure to head over to glitchenergy.com this weekend. Like I said, my code is going to be 40% off this weekend, and you guys can spend less than $10 and get yourself a starter kit to just try it out, see if you like it, and if you don't, then obviously you haven't really lost anything, but I'd almost guarantee you guys will end up really enjoying Glitch. The new formula is absolutely amazing, so be sure to check that out. The link to that is down in the description. But with that being said, thank you guys very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.